While you may know your MBTI type, or at least you think you do, you're an ISTP, INFP, ESTJ, you do not realize that you actually, in a way, have 3 other non-dominant Myers-Briggs types that you could be tapping into that could be giving you superpowers and be making your life so much more entertaining and easy. In this video, I covered what the MBTI is and what the cognitive functions are, as well as how to identify what your cognitive functions are and how you can use this in application to your life to tap into your hidden Myers-Briggs types to embody your own unique superpowers. Welcome back to the Be the Hero channel. I'm Isabelle, and I help you understand yourself so you can feel more clarity and control over your life. Now, before I dive into today's video, make sure you hit the link in the description below to book your 1-hour coaching call reading where we dive deep into your unique personality type combination, including your birth chart, your Enneagram, your Myers-Briggs, and more to help you understand yourself and get the things you want in life. That's in the link in the description below. If you're ready to dive deep into who you are and your desires, this reading is for you. Link in the description below. So I wanted to talk about something I was talking about my mom too the other day that was kind of fun to think about, and it's helped me with understanding my Myers-Briggs type, which I don't talk a lot about here at Be the Hero, but I want to talk about more because I use the Myers-Briggs, frankly, on a daily basis. I am constantly thinking about how my cognitive functions are affecting my life. So if you don't know about the cognitive functions, do note that with the Myers-Briggs, not only do you get a letter combination such as INFJ or ISTP, but those each indicate that you have 4 out of 8 cognitive functions, which are TI, TE, SI, SE, NI, NE, FI, FE. And you have 2 E functions and 2 I functions. If you are an introverted type such as ISTP or INFP, you have an introverted function first, and then an extroverted, and then an introverted, and then an extroverted. Hopefully you guys know all about this, but if you don't know, you don't need to know about the cognitive functions in order to apply it to this video. And I have more resources on how you can learn about the cognitive functions in Be the Hero Academy in the link in the description below the reading link. So you can join Be the Hero Academy for free and check out the Precision Personality Hacker mini course that helps you find your type and also understand the cognitive functions that go along with it. So I am an ISTP. And as I said, I think about this on a daily basis because as an ISTP, I have a dominant TI function, which means I memorize and sort everything into boxes. Not filing cabinets that are labeled prettily, but just messy boxes. These go into these labels. I box everything and everyone. But I have a tertiary function of NI. And that is the bane of my existence, let me tell you. But one thing I was talking about to my mom, so I walked into her RV, which I'm sitting in right now, and she was saying how it's interesting to think about the cognitive functions. And, we're supposed to work through them. We have our dominant function, which is what we're dominantly good at. And then our auxiliary, which is our secondary way of processing said world. And then our tertiary, which is what we're good at, but really need some improvement on. It would help us with our strengths. And then our inferior function, which is like our greatest human weakness that we need to learn. And then we have our shadow functions, which don't really play into it as much. But she was just talking about how she is a commander or architect, depending on the day, which is just the introvert or extrovert NTJ type. And she was saying how, it's really interesting to think about the functions and how we work through them. And instead, imagine becoming that Myers-Briggs type as you embody that function, which is a really great way, I thought, and I didn't realize, to think about it. Because I've always thought about embracing my weaker functions in application to being an ISTP. But it was kind of cool to think about it in the way she was talking about, which is basically becoming a different type. In a way, breaking the mold of who you are and trying to be a different different Myers-Briggs. Wrong system. So for me as a TI, ISTP, if I then went into my second function of being SE dominant type with the same functions, basically you're like shuffling the functions. So if I was a ISTP with TI dominant and then SE, what if SE was dominant and I had the same functions? Then I would potentially be an entrepreneur. So if I was my extroverted counterpart, how would it serve me, or how could it help me being an entrepreneur? If I was an ESTP, where would I embrace this in life? And for me, I can really pick up on how much I try to be probably an ESTP in my social groups. I go country swing dancing a lot, and I become extremely loud and sometimes blunt to the point that I even want to just smack myself for being so blunt. But embracing that in my career to be more confident in what I have to offer and being more social in my networking skills could be extremely beneficial to me. This is the part of me where I can be more bold, and I could read the description about the entrepreneur and see how it differs from my normal type and see how that would just basically play out. What if I embrace this more? Not like I'm trying to be, though, a different version of myself. Not like I'm trying to be fake, but what if I allow different basically parts of my personality to show? Because we do have the capacity for all these functions. It's just that our brain has been taught to use certain cognitive functions more than others. That's why we have a dominant and then an auxiliary and then a tertiary and then an inferior. We have the capacity, we're just not trained into it. And so basically, I was asking myself first, okay, if I use my second function, what would it be like if I use this dominantly? I'd be much more social and observant of my world. SE, which is to observe the external and optimize it, is really about taking in the world around you and using it to your benefit. I probably would have been much better about my businesses that I've started hundreds of times if I was more entrepreneurial, if I was more like an entrepreneur. I even noticed this helps me with making more income because I would be able to just see a need, fill a need, basically, which I've been doing more as I create and have more side incomes. In a way, I feel like for me, my ESTP really plays out as having a lot of side gigs as of now. And then I can go into my third function, my pesky little NI function that my mom and sister have dominant, which is mind-boggling always to think about. I don't know how people can think like that all the time. And those who think they're INFJs, I highly recommend you look into the NI function a lot, because chances are you actually are probably an INFP or an ISFJ or even an ENFP or something else, because the NI function is mind-boggling to have dominant. So when I think about my NI, so then for that example, I would be most likely I would have to be a advocate. NI, FE, TI, SE. Yeah. With shuffling my functions, I'd be an advocate, which is my sister. And I think about, okay, how would my life look like? What would my life look like if I was an advocate? How could I be more of an advocate? Where can I be more of an advocate in my life? That's basically being more long-term based in my head. I still have to systemize it in some way because I'm TI dominant. Being more about a future vision. I think of it as Aquarius energy kind of, but also being compassionate. I think of it as advocating for people, being able to see people's journey. I think my one-on-one coaching is the best way for me to do that, because while I can data dump a lot in a reading, I end up needing to more help people see their long-term vision. So advocating for both others and for myself is how I can see embracing my advocate NI function. So I try to basically experiment with being an advocate. And then I honestly feel like with an advocate, I feel like that's really played out in a way just in my own life, in the sense of I have to advocate for my own success more, which is hard. And then the last one would be if my FE was dominant and I still had NI and TI and SE, then I'd have to be a protagonist. So how do I be a protagonist? In a way, I don't really show up as a virtuoso ISTP here on the channel as much as I do share a lot of data with you guys. In a way, I feel like I have to be more of an entrepreneur slash protagonist, because this is, in the end, none of this information matters other than its applicability or how it makes you feel. So I really enjoy getting to be able to step into my protagonist entrepreneur energy by sharing all my information with you guys and how it affects my life and my stories, and hopefully it helps you. Let me know in the comments below if this information helps you. And I invite you to think about today, what is your Myers-Briggs and how can you take it further? You know, if you don't know your cognitive functions, you will need to look it up, because while you again have your letters, these letters coincide with a number or a letter combination with a cognitive function. So if you're a IT type, so if you're an IN, well, it's hard to explain. There's no way to simply say it. The fastest way would be for me to list off all of them. But find out your cognitive functions. Are you like me? Are you a TI, SE, NI, FE? Learn about your functions and experiment with, if you reshuffled the deck and had your functions in a different order, what are the other 3 types you could be embracing, and how can you embrace those? It's kind of just fun to experiment with, to see how you can get yourself to be a different person, so to say, than you naturally are. I honestly enjoy really challenging myself to be less TI in my life, because my TI function is just so dominant. It feels like it gives me just a massive headache all the time of systemizing everything and overthinking everything. And the more I can embrace my other functions, the more easy life seems to become, even though I feel like I struggle on a daily basis to embrace my darn NI function. I can't even think about getting to my FE function yet, in a way. So let me know what your cognitive functions are in the comments below, and I will try to respond. Let me know what your just Myers-Briggs type is. Are you an INFP? Are you ISTP? And I can tell you your functions in the comments below. But if you want to dive deeper into this philosophy, make sure you join Be the Hero, our free academy, where we have resources on this. We have the Precision Personality Hacker that helps you identify your type and also know your functions. And book a reading in the link in the description below if you want to dive deep into this and use this in application, as well as we dive deep into your astrological birth chart, numerology, Enneagram, and more. Link is in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Sincerely hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down who you are. And last thing, if you enjoyed this video on the Myers-Briggs and you want more Myers-Briggs content, please let me know and I will be sure to cycle more in with my astrology and mindfulness content. Namaste.